Hello guys, welcome back to Pages with Sidra. In this video, we're diving into Chapter 7 of the Rebellious Apostle of the Harvest Goddess. If you haven't watched the previous chapters yet, make sure to check them out on our channel so you can enjoy the full story from the beginning. Let's jump right in. The egg began to tremble, cracks spider-webbing across its shell. Everyone watching held their breath, expecting something extraordinary to emerge. Chance's heart pounded. It's breaking. Emerge. SSS rank familiar. With a sharp crack, the shell burst open. A tiny foot kicked free, and the familiar pushed the fragments aside. It's coming out. Chansu exclaimed, eyes wide with anticipation. Finally, the creature revealed itself completely, and Chansu froze. A chick, he thought blankly. My 120,000 points. The small bird fluffed its damp feathers. It seems pretty big for a chick, but if I raise this, won't it just become a chicken? The chick wobbled around on unsteady legs while Chansu stared at it. I was hoping for a worker, he muttered under his breath. Should I raise it just to eat it? At that moment, the chick turned toward the goddess nearby and bowed deeply. The goddess's lips curved into a faint smile of excitement. Chansu chuckled darkly. Looks like I'll be having chicken for the first time in a while. But this one comes with a side of 120,000 points. I shouldn't get attached, he decided. I'll just give it a random name. He bent down toward the chick. Hello? From today, you're Ari. I'm Chansu. Ari chirped once, then pointed its tiny wing toward the other egg resting nearby. That shell, too, had begun to crack. Chansu's face lit up with hope. Oh, another one is coming out, he said eagerly. This time, a worker for sure. The egg split open, and out tumbled a piglet. Your name is Doji, Chansu said flatly, his face darkening with disappointment. Why do I only keep getting ingredients? They said it was a familiar. Isn't this a scam? Night fell. Under the moonlight, Ari and Doji quietly together. Peep, chirped Ari. The 10th seat, chicken, greets the goddess of abundance. Oink, grunted Doji. The 12th seat, pig, greets the goddess of abundance. Seated on a stone, the goddess looked at them with soft eyes. It's been a while. Please, forgive me for not being able to protect you until the end. Peep, don't say such things, Ari replied quickly. Peep, peep. We are only sorry for not being able to assist you properly. Oink, Doji added. We will do our best so that you can regain your beautiful true form. The goddess's expression turned serious. I appreciate the sentiment, but there is something you must be careful of, she warned. Be wary of my apostle. He doesn't know that you are my retainers. Perhaps if he thinks you are useless, he might sell you off. Perhaps he might just eat you. The two familiars remembered the look in Chansu's eyes when they first hatched, his calculating gaze as he muttered about what to do with them, and they both began to sweat nervously. Therefore, the goddess continued, you must be on your best behavior until he obtains the communication skill. Oink, Doji whimpered. Could what the goddess said be true? Squawk. Ari tilted its head. Apostle? He looked pretty dim-witted. What's the big deal? Peep. Let's observe for now. Night passed, and the next day arrived. Chansu was already up, gripping his sickle tightly, ready to take down more undead. The start of my day is always you guys, huh? He muttered with a grin. Good morning, my dear customers, he added, his sickle slicing through the air with precision. Each undead fell as smoothly as a knife through cake. Ari and Doji, still waking up, looked on with wide eyes. Peep, Ari chirped, blinking sleepily. What's all this commotion so early in the morning? Oink, Doji added, confused. Splurt? Slice, slice. Both familiars nearly popped their eyes out in shock as they watched Chansu move effortlessly, decapitating undead with terrifying ease. Payak. What is that? Ari squawked, trembling. Peep. Was the decapitation skill like that? Ari added, wide-eyed. Echa. Doji gulped nervously. Gulp. Chansu continued moving fluidly, his sickle slicing through the undead without a single misstep. Ari and Doji's nerves tensed further. Watching the corpses drop, Ari whispered, sweating. Peep. Come to think of it, I think the apostle was licking his lips when he looked at us. He was. Doji stammered, sweat forming on his tiny brow. The two familiars began imagining the worst. Chansu looking at them as if he were about to eat them both. Squawk. It's obvious, Ari yelped. Peep-ache. He might really eat us. Meanwhile, Chansa glanced at the system window. Bulsagwi Hunt 202/. Wiping the sweat from his forehead, he spoke aloud. Finally got them all. Just then, he heard voices from his left. Surprised, he looked over. Huh? Oh, when did you get here? Ari stood holding a towel, standing over the doji. Peep peep oh my. Our apostle, you've worked so hard. It was tough, wasn't it? Ari chirped softly. Ha ha, apostle. Good morning. Doji added, smiling. Chansa dropped to one knee, accepting the towel. Oh, thanks. That's very thoughtful of you, he said, wiping the sweat from his brow. After a little while, Chansu offered some apple slices. Here, want a bite? He asked kindly. Doji squealed with excitement. Oink oink. Gimme gimme. Ari wagged his wings disapprovingly. Peep peep. Eat in moderation. You can't look like a glutton. Doji ignored the warning and started eating happily. As expected, Chansa said with a smile. They have a healthy appetite. Eat a lot and grow up quickly. Oink. Hee hee, this is yummy. Doji said between bites. Chansa glanced sideways and muttered thoughtfully. I heard that grapefruit pork is trendy. Does feeding them fruit make it taste better? Ari tried to stop Doji from overeating, panicked. Stop eating, you pig. You're going to become apple-flavored grilled pork belly. But Doji didn't listen and continued munching enthusiastically. Chansu looked at Ari. Should you eat too? Ari sniffed the apple, eyes widening in shock. What is this fragrance? He put in at least 500 points worth. Is he insane? That's a normal apostle's daily income. Shaking his head to clear his mind, Ari stood firm. Peep. One won't fall for it. Chansu looked at Ari, who was hesitating in front of the apple slices. Are the apples not to your taste? He asked, frowning slightly. Then, reaching for a small bag of grains, he continued. You'll eat grains, right? Ari stiffened, glancing at the pot filled with grains. I'm different from the pig. I will never become fried chicken, he thought resolutely. But, despite his determination, Ari slowly began pecking at the grains. Chansa chuckled softly. Unlike Doji, Ari is a small eater, huh? Soon, it was time for Chansu's 3-minute farming class. All right, everyone, let's go step by step, Chansu instructed. Have Doji dig the ground. Ari, plant the black beans carefully. Cover the ground again and give it some water. And now, the blessing of abundance. Click. See, it's easy, right? Our goddess is the best. As Chansu finished, he noticed a small, shiny bead among the harvested crops. All right, perfect, he said, holding the bead in his hand. But then, a sudden, murderous intent seemed to radiate from behind him. Chansu shifted the bead left and right, watching carefully, while Ari mirrored the movement, curiously following the shiny object. Do chicks like shiny things? Chansa thought. It's not a crow. No. Wait, the first harvest must be offered to the goddess first, he exclaimed. Chansu placed the harvest in front of the goddess. She smiled, leaning forward and absorbing the crops with surprising vigor. This is a method of consumption I can never get used to, Chansu thought, silently shivering. Let's eat too, quickly. We have to plant potatoes and sweet potatoes later, he said, handing some of the harvest to Doji. Doji immediately started devouring the crops. Oink! Yummy yummy, he exclaimed happily. Doji has always been a big eater, so that's expected, Chansu observed. But Ari, despite being a small eater, had started eating almost as much as Doji. Chansu raised an eyebrow. Wasn't Ari a small eater? He thought, surprised. Before long, both Doji and Ari had eaten so much that they nearly doubled in size from their previous form. Peep, Ari muttered weakly. In the end, I was defeated by my appetite. I'm so screwed now. Chansu smiled warmly. It's nice to see you eating well. I should hurry up and grow other crops to give you. Suddenly, he remembered. Oh, right. I said I'd start selling the apples today. I wonder if they're selling well. Scene shift to department store. The Ryu looked around the organized display and spoke. I'm more or less done organizing. Are the apples the only thing left? He turned toward the section where the apples were displayed, labeled as Emperor Apple. Oh, quite a few people have gathered, huh? The Ryu observed, scanning the small crowd. But, as expected, no one is willing to buy one, he muttered under his breath. The apples were covered in gold dust, with delicate winter bird feathers decorating each one. The price tag read, 200,000 gold. The Ryu sighed. With a flashy name like Emperor Apple, I packaged it to look luxurious, but people are still hesitant. Shoppers whispered among themselves, clearly confused. What kind of apple is that expensive? This is too much. The Ryu shook his head. The high price is making people hesitate. I can't run a taste testing corner. Isn't there a way to spread the word that it's delicious? Their minds would change after eating just one. Just then, a clear, polite voice rang out from the crowd. Thank you, valued customer. The Ryu snapped out of his thoughts and turned toward the commotion, running over with concern. What's going on? He asked, panicked. He saw a massive crowd gathering around the apples, and his jaw dropped. Really? They're buying all of it? Turning to the seller at the counter, he asked urgently, What's all this commotion? What's happening with the Emperor apples? The seller pointed and replied, Sir, look at this. The Emperor apples, they're sold out. The Ryu's eyes widened in disbelief. What are you talking about? There were still some left just a moment ago. The seller explained, Well, someone tasted one, and then they bought all of them. Looking at the payment signature, it says Rohan. The crowd started murmuring nervously, pointing at a tall figure leaving the store with a large sack slung over his back. That's Rohan, right? Is that a sack of apples on his back? The seller shrugged. He seemed like someone famous. I was just dispatched here, so I don't really. The Ryu's voice cracked as he shouted, eyes wide. Our Rohan. If it's Rohan, the pioneer of the handicap training method. Excitement rippled through the crowd. It's Rohan, the unrivaled sword master. As Ryu shouted, this is a huge scoop. For someone like that to buy up all of our apples. Meanwhile, Rohan was already enjoying his purchase, taking a bite and smiling. It's delicious, he said simply, savoring the flavor. And that's a wrap for this chapter. Thank you so much for watching Chapter 7 of the Rebellious Apostle of the Harvest Goddess. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. Chapter 8 is already uploaded on the channel, so be sure to check it out next and continue the adventure.